Okay.
Got all my brothers and sisters with me. We are family.
You supposed to hit the come on everybody.
I was just about to say, bro, you ain't committed, Chris. You ain't committed, bro.
You ain't committed to the bid.
I can't hit that note. I can't hit that note. That's
let me tell you, it don't matter. It don't matter if it's really in you or not to do it. Look at John Morant. You don't really got to be about it to try it. You know, just do it. Put your hand to the road.
Let's go ahead and get started. We didn't even get started.
Okay,
bro.
all right. I'm sorry. I'm the bad guy, I guess. I'll be the bad guy this week. But anyway, fellas. The would you rather this week. You have to go without one of these for the rest of your life. Television or fast food?
I'll go the rest of my life without fast food.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Television or fast food at any restaurant where it costs under $75 a plate.
Oh, so you mean even like going out to eat, that's gone too?
Oh, you can go out to eat, but it's only, you got to be like the minimum at wherever you eat and got to be $75 a plate.
Ooh. When we saying TV, we include anything that comes on TV.
Anything that is on TV, you cannot watch.
Well, food got to go then. I know that make life tougher because at the same time, like you got to think of how many times if you going on a date, you going out to eat, your family having a thing, you going out to eat, you won't, it's a work team building meeting, you going out to eat. That's tough to get rid of, and you know most of those places are going to be under $75 for the average entree. But I'm not getting rid of TV. I'm supposed to go the rest of my life without basketball and wrestling. You out of here.
Hey, fun fact. My family. One of my family members had a birthday and they wanted to go to a specific restaurant downtown. It's in the Renaissance Center. So for those of you who are not familiar,
I'm hip.
For those of you who are not familiar with Detroit, the Renaissance Center is like it's the real ritzy snazzy area in terms of food and all that.
It's our magnificent mall.
It's our magnificent. It really is. Basically, that's what it is for real. It's basically that. And my sister said, "Yeah, I invited a whole bunch of my friends here." But that I didn't even want to say who it was. But anyway, this person invited a bunch of their friends to the dinner, and in my mind, the first thing I thought was, "Hey, your friend's kind of broke. Like, no offense, but like, we are not. Your friends ain't coming to Joe Muir's. Like, that's not. They are not finna." What are they gonna do in there? Like, order the salad and the water and look at everybody crazy when the bill
comes? Wedge salad.
They might not even get the wedge. Give me the like little leavings that y'all got off the. But yeah, we went and like none of her friends came, and I was just like, baby, they're poor. Like, no offense, like, cause we've all been there. We've all been there. I've been broke. I'm not even like out of broke right now, but like, you know, this is just a fun thing there. Chris, which one you going without? The TV or the food?
Okay, so. Is the food is the TV I can't even watch highlights. Like I can't watch highlights. I can't watch recaps.
That's what I'm thinking.
Why does somebody put us a parade inside my city in the comments? Y'all are sick people. Y'all are sick people. But anyway, yeah. Chris,
that's why the job warrant.
Chris, you can. So here's the thing. You can technically watch that because it's on social media. But like that's about it. You can watch stuff that's on social media, but you can't like how people are putting full movies on Twitter. Like you can't do that, obviously. Like
so, even if like right now, if the game on after it's over, I can't type in like Sixers Bucks highlights on YouTube.
Yes, you're allowed to have that. Yeah.
No, I'm the restaurant still gotta go.
That's tough, bro, because you got stuff like Snowfall you will miss. You got stuff like Power you will miss. You got stuff like sports, like live sports you will miss, man. But then also on the food side, you got stuff like Del Frisco's. Have y'all been to Del Frisco's, man? Oh,
I'm not hip. Man. I'm not hip.
Frisco's is like...
Wait. Like, never mind. I'm thinking of Del Taco. I'm not thinking of Del Frisco. No,
Del Taco is wild.
I was thinking that boy up. In my mind, I'm like, bro,
I see your face.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But no, I've never been to Del Frisco's.
Man. Del Frisco's is like, have you been to Steak 48? Like these is upscale restaurants.
Yeah,
I've been there. I've been there.
Okay, Del Frisco's is like steak 48 with a Gucci belt on. Like Del Frisco's is the one in Boston gets I go there twice a year because of how steep that bill is. Like, if I had to give up Del Frisco's, I don't know how I would live on.
But no,
myself.
if the bill is crazy, then you wouldn't have to give it up. Again, if the average is $75 a plate, you good.
Okay. So I would just have to cook because obviously you'll go broke. Always going out $75 a plate, you'll go broke.
Yeah.
So I would give up the food for sure. Because low key, if you think about it, what fast food restaurant do you pull up to and be like, all right, I'm gonna be satisfied with this meal? It's just like if you do go get fast food, it's like I'm just getting this shit. Getting this just because it's like it's available and I don't feel like cooking nothing. Like literally, like last time I had wings, McDonald's or something like that, it was so horrible I didn't even finish it.
Wait, you said you said Wendy's or McDonald's. I thought you said wings or McDonald's. I was about to say that's a wild thing
spectrum.
but actually wings would be included in there because like wings
that's what I'm saying.
Wings ain't $75. They finna be, but they not there yet. There yet. I definitely had to go with the food too, man. I had to go with the food too. And don't get me wrong, like I really do love a good steak. I love a good ambiance joint. You know what I mean? Where it's like you could just tell like they wouldn't have let your ancestors in about 50 years ago, but like you're there now. Nice little spot, nice little ambiance. But yeah, not for me. Not for me. Anyway, that is what we got going on there. So we got to get into the show, fellas, because we got a lot going on, okay? Josh, you got to answer because there are beliefs that you are tied in with BMF, the Big Morant family, that you supplied the gun to John that he carried on the plane. And that gun that he carried on the plane is allegedly carrying a 50-game suspension behind it. We got to talk NFL Combine, winners and losers. And folks, the dominoes are falling with these quarterbacks. The dominoes are falling. Derek Carr has gone to the Saints. You've got Danny Dimes getting read up with a massive contract. You've got multiple quarterbacks getting big contracts. And you got Lamar getting franchise tag. And speaking of quarterbacks and whatnot, we're going to talk about Deion Sanders and how he wants his quarterbacks and what type of homes he wants them from. That's not a good episode, y'all.
Sound good to me.
I feel like this episode going to get us banned, but...
we gonna get banned. We gonna listen. I am. If we get canceled like these celebrities get canceled, I'm here for it. If we get canceled into a Netflix special where we get to like record, hey, we recording on Netflix.
The sponsorships ain't came in yet. This might be our avenue.
This might be our lane. But let's get into it. What's up, y'all? Have a seat. It's your favorite hour of the week with the Facts Over Acts crew. We got the master, the mix and master, Josh Guyton in the building.
That is I.
We got the money man, the man of the planet, Chris Allen in the building.
Right here.
And then you got the little old MC, that is me, Ken Gibbs. First of all, let me let y'all in on something that I did not know until like literally 2 weeks ago. My big brother that's audio guy. That's my big brother. I had no clue.
Oh, word?
I was like, bro, who is this audio guy? Like, this is really random. That's my big brother. That is my big brother. What's up, Kevin? I'm glad that you're here, bro. Glad that you're here. But anyway, folks, Ja Morant and this 50-game suspension. Everybody warned him. Everybody said, stop what you're doing. But apparently, not the flashing the gun on the live is not what did it. That was supposed to be a 2-gamer. The allegedly bringing a gun on the plane is what got him 50. What are y'all thoughts on this situation?
So one, has he already gotten 50 or they're discussing 50? Because I thought I read if the gun was registered and he has like a license to carry, then he wouldn't be suspended.
So what I was hearing was it's in the CBA that there's no way around 50.
Okay.
What I was hearing was like regardless of the situation, there's no way around 50, but they trying to work something out to finesse it. Because this, it's just like how the Panthers said every player got to wear a suit and tie on game day. Mm-hmm. And then when Cam came out with the handkerchief and the big hats and all that, it was just like, it's Cam. You know what I mean? What are you going to do? So they trying to find a way to work it out, but it's in the CBA that this is... we got the, what was his name? We got the Ronald Reagan mandatory minimums on the case. You're caught with a rock, you're facing a decade. That's just what we got going
So
on.
if he does get 50, I just want to talk about how goofy this young man is.
Tell us about it.
So for starters, I'm not going to be a person that's going to go on wax and say that young people are not allowed to make mistakes. Ja is what, 22?
23.
23. Okay. So young people are not allowed to make mistakes, but at the same time, none of us here, and I don't think any of our listeners at age 23 has made a mistake that's multiple mistakes that have snowballed into him losing a very important season of his career. Regardless, we've seen crazier things happen in the NBA, but the Memphis Grizzlies are a championship contender. I wouldn't personally feel that way, but they're the second seed in a tough Western Conference.
They good in the West. They good in the West.
Right.
They good in the West.
Also, none of us at that age have made a mistake that's big enough to cost us $200 million. I'm not understanding how, somebody that age pays attention to social media. They may pay attention to the media at large. How do you continuously try so hard to be from somewhere or be someone who you're not? All of us, I know for a fact, me and Gibbs didn't come from the best neighborhoods upbringing wise. Mm-hmm. Chris is like halfway. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like
Chris was around black folks, but he was around like hey, what y'all do around here, black folks? Like, pull up your pants, young man. Black folks.
Come on, I grew up on 6 Mile out of Drive, bro. We not
the Pocket Square.
We not doing
You grew up in Rosedale. Stop playing. No,
hey, say what you want, man. Hey,
your parents did their job. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying, bro. I mean,
hey, I
ain't out here acting like Ja.
Hey, one of my parents completely abandoned bro post. He said, wait a minute, these kids do not pass the vibe check. I'm out of here, bro. Get me skedaddling. I got the absent father in me. I'm not doing it. But anyway, go ahead.
So I'm from people that come from that kind of life or that kind of, but I grew up around guns. Gibbs, I'm pretty sure you can say the same.
Same, yeah.
No part about me is like, yo, I'm about to go flex this gun. Like, you're worth $200 million. I don't even know any other way to cut it. And I don't want to be one of those people that come on here and say that young people can't make mistakes, because I know a lot of people are like piling onto the situation. A lot of people, it was a video of him drinking Casamigos out the bottle.
Yeah.
You 23, you were celebrating making an all-star team. You're going to do that. Like, I'm not going to pile these things on top of it. We're talking about making felonious mistakes. What? You worth $200 million. Yeah. If you thought guns made you that cool, if you work through this contract, do what you're supposed to do, and get out the NBA, you can play with as many guns as you want to.
Yeah. Yeah. And you'll be, he got a 7-year contract?
Yep.
You'll be 30. You'll have like 40 years left of life to go play with guns and post guns all day. You know.
Even if you did have the gun, why would you put it on IG? Like who are you trying to? What was? You make a pros and cons list.
Yeah.
Give me one pro of him flexing a gun on IG Live as an NBA all-star.
Somebody looked at it and said, "Oh, that Ja's a bad guy. Shivered me timbers. You don't want to mess with him."
He's in the NBA. Chris, give me one benefit of you posting a gun on IG Live as a plant manager.
I will probably lose my job.
That production line ain't never gonna move so fast. Chris, pull up. Hey, big dog. What you mean? You got a Charlie horse? What you mean? You the welder, right? Get to welding. Hey, bro. If I got a return around here, you get this done in 9 seconds, or another 9 gonna be on you, brother. That's your option.
Because the numbers are really up this month, though.
hey. So we got a thing called OEE. That's overall equipment efficiency. Man, 85% in manufacturing is like the gold standard, right? Man,
Yeah,
look,
pull out the 9,
we'd
get
be
to
doing
90.
80. Right, 90%. 9 equal 90%. I ain't hearing that 85%. We breaking new records.
Just walking by with the piss. Hey, nah, I saw you taking a break the other day. Now, was that sanctioned? Was that okay? I'm just letting you know.
Hey, look, you know this ain't no union. You know this ain't no union.
Y'all ain't got not nary a union. I want to say this. I want to say this about John. I want to say this because, like, this is, you talked about it and you touched on it a little bit there, Josh. I am big on, like, yes, people are young, they make stupid mistakes. And we've probably made mistakes that are, like, in that category, maybe not as bad as taking a gun on a plane. But, like, this is one of those things that always confuse me. I know how hard I worked to get to college. I know how hard I worked when I was in college. Like, I know. Like, there's, like, I sacrificed so much. It was like missed homecomings, missed birthdays. I missed funerals. I missed like all types of stuff because I was like, I am single-mindedly focused. I'm single-mindedly focused on becoming an NFL Hall of Famer, right? And like, I could not imagine throwing all of that away to like prove that I'm tough. Like, there are things about my family that like people would not believe if I told them. Like, there are things about my life that people really would not, like, they would not believe it if I told them. Like, they would be like, no, that's something out of a movie. And I'm just like, I got receipts to prove that this happened, or to prove that, like, this is my I have no interest whatsoever. You can call me, listen, people was talking about Michael B. Jordan being corny last week. Give me the corny side. Give me that. I need more of that. I need more of that. Because you know what's not going to happen to Michael B. Jordan? Nobody's thinking about canceling any type of like endorsement deal that they got.
Creed about to hit all-time highs.
You know? And everybody talk, well, he's corny. He's corny. Okay, give me corny. Give me corny. It's plenty. I'll take corny every day of the week. I'll take corny. Patrick Mahomes is corny. You know what Patrick Mahomes got? A $500 million contract.
2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, we could talk about somebody that's less famous than or less rich than that. It's Marcellus Wiley, who is now on Fox Sports. He's corny. He's corny. He went to an Ivy League. He surely did.
I got one even better. Stephen A. Smith.
But you know, and that's the reality of it. The reality that I'm looking at here is very plain and simple. You are about to lose everything to be cool, and this is what you got to realize. Cool changes depending on what your age, what circle you're in, what you're doing in life.
Yeah.
Think about it this way, right? When you were 20 and you were in college, being at all the parties was legitimately like cool, right? Like if you was the guy that everybody knew you was gonna be at the parties with liquor, with bud, with whatever, you was cool because everybody knew, oh man, if Josh show up, we all gonna, you know, he gonna have enough bud for all of it. That's, you know, that's what it's gonna be. Oh man, if Chris show up, it's gonna be bottles of Grey Goose everywhere. That's how we coming. It's cool. Now, try that at our current ages. Imagine if we were still at college parties with all the liquor and bud at our current ages. Is that still cool?
Well, for one, they would call us Bill Cosby, but we're going to say that for a different day. But, yeah, it's not cool. No.
But you know, people will look at me, bro, you're bald. 2 of y'all are bald. What are you doing at this party? This is a party with undergrads. What are y'all doing here? You show back up to campus for a homecoming, and that's it. You go home after that. You do not stick around campus. That's just not how that works. Because it's not cool no more. Ja, you have reached a level where, like, you've sped up your clock, brother. You know what's cool for you? You could legitimately be on the Ben Simmons plan of buying the new $500,000 car every month, or $30,000, $50,000, $100,000, however many $1,000 car every month. You wouldn't miss that money for real until you get to like year 3 or 4. Like you really wouldn't. You could buy a new AMG truck every month just cause. Yeah, I bought this one in red. I bought this one in fuchsia. I bought this one in pink. I bought this one in black. This one was for my dog. The little Mittens likes to sit in this one. Mittens not my dog. That's my cat. They got a car too. That's just what you could do and nobody would notice. But you sitting up here flexing guns, bro. What are you doing? What do you do? And also, somebody brought up the point of Ja Morant was in the strip club and the only nipples that was showing on camera was his. And they said he got the wrong type of dog in him. And that's... See, hey, even in your quest to be cool, and this is what people got to realize. When you're not from a life, in your quest to like kind of pretend to be that, there will be obvious moments where you look like a weirdo. And that strip club moment was a moment where he looked like a weirdo. But I'm going to say this. I hope that he doesn't get 50 games. I hope they find a way to like subvert 50. But I hope that he really does think about what he potentially could lose. I hope that like somebody in his family sits him down and says, Ja, we love you too much to let you continue like this. Yeah, that's just my thought on it. Chris, go ahead. You had to find a word on this one.
Man, John Nardo, Wick, Morant. You know, I just want to say this. Right? You know, as another brother to another brother, right? I said it because there's 3 brothers on the show. He a brother, right? Mm-hmm. This is the time that you realize like what you doing, right? How it impacts all of us as an African American male race, right? What this means is now Ja Morant, just like Gilbert Arenas, I don't know if y'all remember, players didn't used to walk through metal detectors, right? The Gilbert Arenas incident happened, and then players started walking through metal detectors. Okay? Now I'll give y'all even closer to home example. Y'all remember when we first got to Cass, it was regular metal detectors, right? Regular metal detectors. By my sophomore year, y'all junior year, we had airport security.
They had the airport
security.
Yeah.
Because the incident happened at Cass where they was like, okay, we have to make corrective actions. So Ja Morant, what you do, right, impacts everyone, right?
Yeah.
So not only are the players going to have to get to the games earlier to get through security, they're going to have to do other actions around flying, around traveling, around what you do when you're out of town, around what you post. It's going to be rules now for what players can post. It's going to be actions taken if players post certain stuff. The NBA is a business. Nobody, I don't care how big you think you are. I don't care how big I go in my career. I'm just a number when it comes down to the business. Okay?
Yep. Huh?
And Ja Morant, you don't want to figure out the alternative when you go against the business. When you go against the business, you lose a lot of money because you won't be with the business, right? Now, Gibbs, I'm not the brightest man in the world. I promise you. I promise you I'm not. I try my hardest to be smart, right? How many shoes would Ja Morant sell if he sat out 50 games?
I mean, the number would plummet, obviously. The number would plummet just because parents not trying to have their kids and nobody's shooters sitting in the jail cell. That's just
right.
Common logic. You know.
Okay. I got one other question for you two, Gibbs. How good is Ja Morant going to be coming back from 50 games?
You're going to have a lot of rust. Like, at minimum, all right, so if he got suspended for 50 games right now, I want to say they got, 20 games left? If that?
Yep.
Just about? Yeah, so 20 games left, that would mean that you would miss basically the first half of next season. Oh, you'd probably be terrible. Yeah. Because it's no way, even if you say, like, oh, we're going super hard in practice and similar, there's certain things that you know you can't do to the star of your own team that, like, other players will take those liberties. And, like, you're the star, Josh, so you got to be prepared for that.
And I got one last question. What are you doing to your teammates during all of this, Gibbs, if you go 50 games down?
You know, here's the interesting thing about it. Apparently, there was a meeting held led by Steven Adams saying...
I knew you was smart, Gibbs. What
they could and couldn't do. That was before this incident with the gun on the plane. So, you know.
So what do you think, Gibbs, that was your teammate, right? You know, you played the highest level out of all of us, right? If that was your teammate, how would you be feeling right now? How would you? Y'all just got out that meeting and then you see this.
I mean, honestly, bro, like you don't respect none of us for real. Like you really don't respect or care about none of us because like we used to have this thing that we would say protect the team, right? Whatever you did in life, like whatever you do outside of the facility, you still got to think about the team, protect the team image, and like if we literally just had a meeting about that and then you go outside and flashing guns on IG. Bringing guns on the plane, like it's very clear that like you're not a very serious individual that we can trust to lead.
Yep. And my last point. I don't try to be hood by any means necessary. I do have a switch I can flip if I have to get ghetto. I do have a switch I can flip. Right. I don't try to act that way. I don't portray to be that way. I don't like You know, and when I say ghetto, it's if I gotta cut up on somebody, I know how to appropriately cut up on somebody. I could do it the professional way, or I could do it the ghetto way. I could do either way, right?
Right.
But what I know about all the hood people I really know, right? They don't want to be hood. They don't want you to know they hood. If they got a gun, that's a surprise that they have a gun. You know, they don't have to tell you. You know they got. If I see some people that I grew up with that's from 7 Mile, right? I don't have to think they got a gun. I know they got a gun. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just know. I don't have to see it. I don't have to know about it. I know when I'm riding in their car, they got a gun. And they might not have a license. So do I want to ride in that car with them? You know what I mean? That's just the hood, the real hood people. You don't have to explain that you're hood. You don't have to show that you hood. People just know. People just know.
Yeah. And it's, I just, again, I hope that this suspension helps him sit down and really like look at what you're facing right now. Like, because this is like real deal. Like, you could lose everything. You could lose everything. And that's, you know, like you said, Chris, if you drop dead tomorrow, the Memphis Grizzlies going to hold like a little memorial for you, and then they're going to draft another point guard because now they need a point guard. That's what they're going to do.
It's a business, man.
This about you.
Not about a business.
This about the Morant family. This is about the Morant family. What do you want? Do you, and I was telling one of my Neos this the other day, everything that you do, and I believe he's like literally a year or two younger than John Morant. I said, everything you're doing right now, 30-year-old you is going to look back and either say thank you or what was I thinking? How? Why would I do that? And what do you want that answer to be? Because for Ja, I mean, again, you know, Michael Wilbon brought up an extremely interesting point. He said, I challenge anybody watching this program right now, don't watch a sports channel for the rest of the day. I challenge you to try to go an entire 24 hours of watching normal TV and not see Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James, Steph Curry on your TV. And he said, don't watch a sports channel. So what he was saying was the millions that are available to you just by being the corny guy. Just by being the guy that stays out of trouble. You getting that up out the paint for what? For what?
And one last point on this, right? And first things first, I know we don't like to promote other pods, but they made a really interesting point, right? John Morant, 23, right? This is crazy. I had to fact check this, right? He honestly is in a situation, right? In the next 2 years, he could be the best player from America. From United States of America, he could be the best player in the league from the United States. He seriously could be. And
which
I was
means
like,
he would be the face of the league, which means he would de facto be the face of the league.
Exactly. And I was like, hold on. You got Giannis? No. Embiid? No. Joker? No. Luka? No. Then I'm thinking of other players up there in that category, and you look at it like Kyrie would be old, Kawhi would be old, Paul George would be old, Kevin Durant would be old.
So why would you even throw Paul George in there? He's not even in that conversation right now. Playing around. I'm just saying. And then the only other person I thought of was between him and Devin Booker. I would lean towards John 2 years from now if Devin Booker don't win a ring. If you're talking about who has the face of the franchise or the face of the league type thing, a big thing that goes into marketability is your style of play. It's why Tim Duncan was never the face of the league. Tim Duncan was consistently. There was never a year where Tim Duncan wasn't one of the 3 best players in the NBA. I think we can all agree to that, right?
From 99 to early 2010s at least.
At worst, I'll go at absolute minimum the 5th or 6th best player in the world. There was a decade where that was the case. He was never pushed as the face of the league. He had a low to the ground, very non-exciting game.
Yeah.
Look at the guys who were pushed as the faces of the league in that time. Look at the guys who did have big notoriety. Like, I want you to think about this right now. You saw Josh Smith in more basketball ads than Tim Duncan.
True.
Like, that's crazy to think about. But why? Simply because he has an exciting style of play. Ja Morant, you don't get more exciting than that. Every time he goes in the lane, you got to watch. Like, you cannot look away from the Grizzlies while he's on the court because he's liable to do something crazy with the ball that you just like, hey, yo, he's in that position. He's in that position to where he could have been, or he could be the face of the league, but instead he gonna be signing the 360 deal with could have been records at the age of 26. He gonna be signing. He gonna be signing with Drewski and them. He gonna be signing at 360.
The craziest part is because he had the allegations about the teenager, right? That led to this, right? And if he didn't have that allegation with the teenager, right? They probably wouldn't. This would have been like his first mess up. They probably would. But
wait. For the listeners, he beat up a teenager. That is the allegation of what he did to it. He beat up a teenager.
I forgot it's 2023. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got it. We just talked about Karl Malone last episode, so we got to clarify like what's going on. You know what I mean? Like we got to make sure.
I'm sorry. But yeah, and with this incident, that following up the teenager where he beat him up and held a gun on the teenager, that led to them like, oh, Ja, you probably, they keep thinking about it. And that's how this whole thing came to play. His repeated behavior pointed them to, oh, so he's carrying guns on planes now.
Yeah. When all you had to do was literally just be an NBA player. Don't they got security for the team? No more young boy. No parades inside that city.
Young boy.
No, not a single parade inside that city. No Fresh Prince of Utah. No Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. No Fresh Prince. No fresh nothing. No, I came through swerving. No, none of that. No, none of it. None. I don't even want to hear nothing if young boy got a feature on the track. So go ahead and delete all that. No more of it. No more. We sick and tired of being sick and tired, John. It needs to be done to protect you from yourself, okay? Now, with that being said, we don't want Ja Morant to be a loser in this situation. We don't want him to come out looking terrible in this situation. But we got to talk about the winners and losers from the NFL Combine. Fellas, talk to me if you noticed some guys who you saw, their stock went through the roof based on how they performed at the NFL Combine. Talk to me. Who was it?
So I didn't see a lot of the Combine. I did see a decent amount. But one winner that I do is Anthony Richardson from Florida. Mm-hmm. Just because I feel like the face of what a quarterback is in the NFL was changing. One, this is the most opportunity we've ever seen black quarterbacks get. Two, more athletic quarterbacks. Even if you're looking at, somebody that's not necessarily a black quarterback, you're still looking at people who are a little more mobile. Daniel Jones, I'm not saying he's the fastest person in the world, but he's a lot more mobile of a quarterback than we're used to seeing.
Daniel Jones had the fastest. He had the fastest recorded time of a quarterback moving in a straight line on the field on that run that he tripped at the 20-yard line. That was the fastest a quarterback moved that year.
Huh?
Yeah, that's
Danny
why.
Vick.
Okay.
I tell y'all, Danny Vick. Danny Vick. Come on,
Too much speed. But go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, and if you just look at the size that he has a typical quarterback size. He's 6'4". His 40 times ridiculous. I think he had a 40-inch vertical leap. Just like that amount of ability and still being able to. I think he in college he didn't have the best completion percentage, but I believe in the combine he was second when it came to like the drills that they were doing for accuracy. So I think that really pushed him up. And then one person that went down, to me, loser is Mike Morris from Michigan.
Talk to us about it.
Just because once again the NFL is changing, just how we talk about with every sport. If you look at the progression physically of what athletes are, we're looking at edge rushers. I mean, speaking of Michigan, we just had Hutch come out of Michigan, and I was a little weary about his speed, but his ability to come off the edge and be that fast is scary. And if you're looking at all of these edge rushers in the NFL, they're getting bigger, they're getting faster, they're getting stronger. And when you your 40 time is 5 seconds. I understand you a bigger dude, but that's ridiculous. And it's not even like he excelled in the other physical aspects. He recorded the lowest amongst edge rushers that's considered that high, and 40-yard dash, vertical leap, and broad jump, and didn't have the most impressive bench press reps either. So it's literally nothing he did to help his stock. Like if we were looking at Mike Morris to be like a 3rd round pick after that combine performance, we might be looking at undrafted.
Ooh, that's nasty. That'd be crazy. That would hurt my feelings. If
But it's not a wild.
No, but you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, as an edge rusher, you do need a certain amount of explosion. And I don't believe his 10-yard split was that good either. And as a defensive, as a lineman, I can tell y'all that in the NFL, they don't actually care about most linemen's full 40-yard dash. It's the 10-yard split.
Yeah.
The 10-yard split determines how quickly you can get off the ball and like get to where you're going. You're not going to run 40 yards in a straight line in a game, or else somebody has done something terribly wrong. So, that's the reality there. Chris, who are your winners and losers from the combine?
So one winner I got, and I'm still debating on my loser, but Quentin Johnson, right? He went to TCU. Now I know
big receiver,
Georgia waxed the tails off of them in that college football super championship,
playoff,
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But Quentin Johnson is like Chase Claypool with a Gucci belt and a Gucci hat and some Gucci flip flops, and he thought it was a drop when he pulled up to the game. That's what Quentin Johnson is.
If you saw a receiver like that in high school, you knew your DBs was finna have a long day. Your DBs was finna have a long day.
Listen. Boy big, built, and check Pete, 40.5-inch vertical on top of the broad jump, 11 foot 2 inches for the broad jump. He was second in the combine. So he that big, Gibbs. That big, and he can move like that. That's he's in that territory like Justin Jefferson territory. If he comes to the league and perform, now he haven't did nothing yet, but he got the frame. He in that Justin Jefferson territory. I would never say Calvin Johnson, but Michael Thomas territory. He not the quickest receiver, but athletic wise, you see athleticism could carry a long way in the NFL, right? Mm-hmm. And then one of my losers would be a lot of the guys, and I got a collection of losers, but I'm not going to even go into detail. But the guys that show up to the combine and pick and choose the drills they want to do, the combine's starting to become one of those things where it's your last chance to really show why you should be drafted ahead of your counterparts, right?
Yeah.
The guys that have been, and I'm not saying that the Ohio State quarterback, I'm not going to say nothing bad about him, but he really came to that combine knowing he's going to be a top pick and kind of picked and choose what he did, It was a lot of guys like that this combine, and I just think that that's not the right attitude to have. That's not the right way you want to go into the league, and I think that you'll be better off by just participating, even if you go half step, a little bit slower than full speed.
My winner for the combine, and don't worry, Mayor, we're gonna get to these quarterback paydays. We're gonna get to them. We're gonna get to these quarterback paydays. We're excited to talk about that. But no, one of my winners, ACC guy, a guy that I watched a lot this year, Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers, an undersized receiver. Everybody says, "Oh, he's so small. Oh, he's a slot. Oh, he's so little. He doesn't run routes well." He ran a 4.42, and he was bigger than people thought in terms of his actual weight. I believe he weighed in at like 200 pounds or so, and most people thought that he was going to be in the 180, 175 range, and still pulled that 4.4. I am telling y'all right now, Zay Flowers is a smaller version of Deebo Samuels. Like, his route tree may not be the best route runner. Put the ball in his hands, he's electric. I have seen this. I've watched this young man play for 3 years straight and thought every time he's one of them ones. I don't care what they got going on. Boston College had so much turmoil at quarterback. They had I can't remember the young man's name, but he got hurt this year. Their starter, who was supposed to be the guy, got hurt this year, and he still put up magnificent numbers with true freshmen and guys who were like darn near walk-ons. I'm telling y'all, he's one of them ones. The losers, common sense. I know what y'all are thinking. What do you mean common sense is a loser? Nolan Smith, edge from Georgia, ran a 4.39, and everybody lost their mind. They said, "Oh my Lord, this boy is different. He ran a 4.39. We ain't never seen nothing like this before. You need to get him. He jumped into the first round." Let me explain something to y'all about Nolan Smith. Number one, he's 6'2". Yes, he has long arms, but he's only 6'2". That's a problem in the trenches. He's not a safety. He's not a corner. He's not a linebacker. He is a defensive end. He is a rush linebacker. He's 6'2". Second of all, that boy weighed 238 pounds. Now,
That's my size exactly.
Right.
Now,
235, 6'3".
now here's the thing. I know everybody's going to say, well, he had the pec injury and he couldn't bench press and all that. It doesn't matter if you couldn't bench. You are an edge rusher, brother. People don't care how fast you can move 40 yards that in a straight line to the degree that they care about how well can you hold the edge. Your 10-yard split is what matters. He had one of the fastest in combine history. Good job. Great job. Great showing you got get off. You will be relegated to a third down specialist. Like that is what will happen if you do not put on weight exponentially and fast. I'm not saying he got to get up to a playing weight of like 260. You got to be at least 245, 250 to hold down that edge. Like those offensive linemen, they lie about their weights a lot on those numbers. Those guys are not 310, 350. Those boys are 320, 330. Now, everybody likes to say, I'm a big guy who lifts a lot of weight. And when you're a big guy who lifts a lot, people like to say, well, mass moves mass. That does not work on a vertical plane. That's not how mass move mass works. How it does work is on a horizontal plane. You know what that means? When you're on the ground, moving forward and backwards. Now, it don't matter how strong. He said that he country strong and he threw bales of hay after practice. Good for you. Bales of hay don't weigh 320 pounds and they don't have bad intentions against you to feed their family. But he's not the only one. Anthony Richardson is another one that I look at. He graded out as the greatest quarterback performer ever in terms of athleticism, which, like, good for Anthony, but you still got to throw the ball. Fun fact about Anthony Richardson, he went the first 4 games of the season without throwing a single touchdown this year. Not one. Not a single touchdown. And you know what those first 4 games are for FBS teams. You're going to play the Southeastern Louisiana Delta Valley State Directional School for the Differently Abled at least 2 times. Like, and you couldn't throw a single touchdown, Pat? I'm worried. My brother in Christ, I'm concerned. We love Justin Fields because he was explosive like that, but he could also fling the rock. We love Lamar. Go ahead, Chris.
Okay. Another player, Zach Wilson. We tormented him when he was. We tormented him.
Yeah.
And look, he's not even gonna be in the league no more.
Boy, that man is too. I'll tell you what. They starting to treat him like his last name is Wilson. They starting to treat him like his last name Wilson, boy, because you finna get tossed up out the league, young man. But yeah,
that's right.
At the end of the day, I'm trying to tell you, you cannot base all these players' value on like, oh, how do they look in shorts and t-shirt? Because here's a fun fact about the game of football: it is not rugby. It's not played in shorts and t-shirt. It's played in pads. It's played by violent people who like to get violent with one another. That is the game. You got a bunch of knuckleheads like myself who said, oh, my arm hurts? Tape it up. I found out I had a torn bicep and I just finished practice because I was like, oh, it's okay. It's just a little stinger. Like, those are the type of individuals you're dealing with here. We're not well in the head. Nobody cares about what you do in shorts and t-shirt. It's not the game. It's just not the game. So anyway, we're going to move on from that because we looked at winners and losers in terms of draft, but drafting ain't the only thing that going in the offseason. Some quarterbacks got paid. Paid. Danny Dimes got a lot of dimes, a ton of dimes, about $1 billion dimes if you look closely. Fellas, we're going to break down these contracts. We're going to talk about them. And y'all tell me who came out as the winners and losers of this quarterback class and free agency so far, because there are more dominoes to fall. The first contract that we saw, Derek Carr to the Saints, 4 years, $150 million with $100 million in guarantees. Daniel Jones signed for 4 years, $160 million with the Giants. Geno Smith read up for 3 years, $105 million. And Lamar Jackson was franchise tagged, a non-exclusive franchise tag, by the way, meaning other teams can match or exceed, and the Ravens have to match that, or they just get 2 first-round picks from the team. With that being said, $32 million was the number instead of the 47 that would have gave them exclusive rights to Lamar. Who do y'all think are the winners and losers out of these quarterback signings so far?
So for the winners, the quarterbacks are the winners. These three quarterbacks getting paid this much money. Now, I will admit, football is something I fell off with for a little bit. Like 2-3 years, I wasn't really locked into football, but I started back watching like 2018. And I'm not as knowledgeable with football as I am basketball, baseball, but I know more than 90% of the population about football, I believe.
Right.
I think these are some pretty big contracts. I know inflation is a thing. I know contracts are getting bigger. I know quarterbacks are the most valuable thing on the field. But the winners in this are the quarterbacks. Those three caliber of quarterbacks who out of those three, you can say, honestly, you could put any of them at one, but you could say Derek Carr is probably the most successful out of those three, and he's like a hinge Pro Bowler.
I don't know about that.
I'm just saying, as far as level of success, out of those three, Derek Carr is like a hinge Pro Bowler. If this was Madden, Derek Carr the only one that they might put in the mid 80s, maybe.
Danny Dimes would be in the mid 80s.
Stop it.
No, bro.
Stop it.
No, man.
If we look at their Madden ratings right now, I am willing to bet my unborn first child's name. I will name that child's middle name Danny. If
Danny
he's
Dimes
actually
at least 83, 84, 85. Yeah, 83,
Ain't no way.
85.
Ain't no way. I'm about to turn on. I'm about to turn on Mad right now.
No, ain't no way. Ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way he's at 85. Stop it. Stop it, Chris.
Listen.
Stop it.
Well,
hold on.
They gave him out like this year, bro.
We looking it up. We looking it up.
Yeah,
Don't
I'm gonna turn
worry.
my Mad. But my point is, out of those quarterbacks, them getting paid that much means in this equation, they are the winners. Who are the losers? And I don't want to slander Geno Smith's name because, you know what I'm saying, he didn't write back. I am happy to see Geno Smith succeed. However, the losers are the franchise that think they're going to get any meaningful playoff football for the tenure that these quarterbacks are number one on their depth chart. And the other players on that team that may have to take a pay cut, or they might not get paid as much as they want to because salary cap went elsewhere, or they might not get any teammates to fill the holes that they thought they were going to fill because they spent a lot of money on some assets that are. I don't like being in the business of calling professional players mid, but in terms of their peers, those are three mid quarterbacks.
Very mid. Very mid. I'm interesting. Chris, who are your winners and losers of this first round of QB sides? Talk to me.
I would actually, I would be that guy. I'm gonna be that guy. I think Lamar is actually a winner in this, right? Because now Lamar actually, he do what he want to do.
Well, one moment, Chris. Daniel Jones is a 75.
Ain't no way they did Danny Dimes like that.
Daniel Jones is a 75. Geno Smith is an 80.
Okay.
And Derek Carr is a 77. Geno is actually the highest of the three.
Hey. Anyway, I mean, we'll see when the next match come out because one guy out of those three won a playoff game. Sorry. So anyway.
Wins are not a QB stat. I have been saying this for years. You know what? We ain't gonna go there today. Go ahead, Chris. Give me your thoughts.
I think Lamar. He gonna look at that franchise tag. He gonna say that's cute, but get somebody else to do it because
get somebody else to do it.
No way. I'm gonna let Derek Carr, who had Devontae Adams, one of the best tight ends to ever play football for the Raiders, decent offensive line, a brand new coach, or offensive-minded coach, and two decent playable running backs, and also a okay defense, and only won 4 or 5 games. Go make that much money, and I'm not. Now, granted, he did luck up and go into an ideal situation with the Saints. I think he'll be a lot better under that offense, and I think that out of the three of them, he's the more Drew Brees-like play style for a quarterback out of the three of them. But Lamar, the teams are going to be like, that's it? That's all y'all gave Lamar? That's all y'all going to give Lamar when y'all backup quarterback is Huntley? That's it? That's all y'all gave Lamar?
Hey, Lamar, here's 47. Come play with us. 47. We give you 120 guaranteed.
However, Chris,
180.
I did just see a report. I need to see the source on it from a pretty legit source. If I could pull it up, give me 1 second. According to Phil Yates, who he got a pretty decent name when it comes to NFL reporting. Apparently, a list of teams came out saying that Lamar is not worth two first round picks, which is the Falcons, Dolphins, Panthers, Commanders, and Raiders.
Of course. I mean, we're not doing the math on this properly. What quarterback in the league right now? Because it's not just about the picks. You still have to pay him after you give the picks. Those picks, you don't you give the picks, but the Ravens take the money. You have to give the picks and give him that much of your salary cap. So, I mean,
me personally, I think it's rare to get a quarterback on your team that's that tier, and you need that to win a Super Bowl more times than not.
Oh, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
I think Lamar is on a list of quarterbacks that I'm willing to give that up in order to have him be a part of my roster.
I'll say this: depending on the team, depending on where your team is, you should absolutely be doing that. Like I'm gonna tell you, the fact that the Buccaneers wouldn't do that, they're smoking crack. You have a really good receiving core. You have a defense that is good but aging, and some of them are gonna need to get paid real soon here. Your Super Bowl window is dependent on y'all having a really good quarterback. Go get that man. Y'all don't need no more first round picks. Y'all got him. With Devin White and company on that defense, Whitfield in the defensive backfield and all that, y'all are good for a little bit. The receiving core that y'all got, y'all are good. Y'all don't need no more pieces. You need a piece, a really good one. Trade for that quarterback. But I digress. Go ahead, Chris. Finish out on who you thought was the winners, losers.
So I think Lamar the winner. I mean, they could say whatever they want. He ain't worth that. But, I mean, we all know that what Lamar bring to the table. He been playing with Mark Andrews and 70 overalls for, like, the last 3 seasons. And they've been a reputable franchise. So, say what you want to say about Lamar. But we all know 2 first-round picks. You probably strike out on both of them picks trying to find a Lamar. But, anyway, I digress. The loser, I would say, and I know I'm high on him, but Danny Dimes, I think he's the loser, right? Because, yes, Saquon, the running back shelf life is very, very small. Like, you know, a running back is good 1 year and they fall off a cliff the next year, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But your team is not that good, right? Your team is not that good. And you just locked 160 M's up with a guy that's relatively healthy, so you ain't going to never get his contract on the books unless you trade him. And paying him that type of money, you're not going to be able to trade him if you have to trade him. So you kind of spent a lot of money on a team that's below average, and now you don't really have the money to make it above average team, right? The receiver core needed more than money than Danny Jones. You know, Daniel Jones, yeah, he could have found another job easily, but at the same time, I don't think another job would have found him with 160 M's, right? Mm-hmm. And Saquon that wasn't a priority to pay him. And Saquon had a year like that. I don't know about that. Yeah. I don't know. If I was Saquon, I'd say get somebody else to do it too. But
can I? I'm a take money long words here. Can I sing to you a little bit? Because some of these teams
proceed, brother.
They need. I'm telling you right now, Baltimore Ravens. Y'all, boy, I love Baltimore. It's a wonderful city. It actually is. Despite the reports about it, despite the fact that people think of the Wire.
We ain't letting you say Baltimore is a wonderful city, bro.
Listen. It's got some really nice parts. And people talk about, like, oh, their seafood is good. You cannot quantify how good Baltimore seafood actually is. Like, you really can't.
I live in Boston. I can't.
I'm telling you, it's different, brother. It's because Boston don't got us making that seafood.
Yeah, I was thinking
Baltimore got us making that seafood.
That boy on clam chowder.
It's different. I had a stuffed lobster tail. I said, hold on. I might have to go live with Marlo and them. I might have to live in one of them little boathouses now. I'll do it. But now, let me let y'all in on a little secret. The Baltimore Ravens have had a consistent starting quarterback how many times in the history of their franchise? Two. Joe Flacco and Lamar Jackson. That's it.
Do you
Other than
wouldn't
that,
include McNair?
McNair was there for 1 year.
Oh, I could have sworn he was there longer. Okay.
That's how good Steve McNair was, and that's how bad these Ravens quarterbacks have been. That's what you get. You had Elvis Gerbach in there. You had Huntley in there. Everybody said Huntley is basically Lamar. Fun fact about that team. Their offense averaged 13 points per game with Huntley in. Guess how many they averaged with Lamar? 26. 26. They were literally twice as good. Direct effect. This man multiplies your offense by 2 simply by existing and showing up and being himself. I don't understand it. And let me let y'all in on a fun fact. The difference between Lamar's $32 million and Dak Prescott's $49 is just as large as the difference between Lamar's $32 million and Jameis Winston's $15.
Yeah.
And you know what I don't understand, Gibbs? What I really don't understand the most, it's the fact that, you know, Lamar not really a bad person. He don't have like dirt on him out here.
Mm-hmm.
He does things for his community. You know, I don't get it. I don't like, what do they know about, who got pictures of somebody in his family that we don't know about?
But that's the thing. They don't. If there was anything, and this is the crazy part. I hate to say this, but I got to say it. If there was anything about Lamar that was like really, really bad, y'all do know that we would know it. Like, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about, we would like in detail know every bad thing that Lamar has done. I think we can all agree that that's safe to say, right? Okay. Well, if you look at what these quarterbacks not named Lamar Jackson have done since the year that Lamar was drafted, their winning percentage is, I believe, about 40% below his. That's Flacco and Huntley who have started for them. Their winning percentage, their team gets exponentially worse without him. Pay that man what he wants and get out the way. Pay him what he wants. Because y'all are looking at a situation where even if you do pay him, you're going to end up in a DeAndre Ayton situation.
What, they going to spend the money on? What, receivers?
Oh, yeah. We know how much they've been spending on receivers. Like, listen, I love Deshaun Jackson. I'm a huge Deshaun Jackson guy. Like, literally, much bigger on Deshaun Jackson than most people. Deshaun Jackson is 36, bro. Why would they go get him in the middle of last season? Sammy Watkins, another guy. I was a big-time Sammy Watkins guy back in the day. That man is 32 and ain't finished out a season in how long? And then people say, well, Lamar is holding these receivers back. It's not that they're bad. They're just bad when they went down. How did Hollywood Brown do this year, y'all? Yeah, he didn't finish with 1,000 yards like he did when he played with Lamar. So, Ravens, you're the losers. You dummies are the losers. Y'all don't develop quarterback talents. Stop playing with yourselves, Ravens. Give the man what he is owed. Give him what he is owed. Period.
Is he old or something? I mean, he's not even that old, you know?
No. Lamar Jackson is younger than Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
The man is, I believe he's 23 as well. So, I mean, again, they need to go ahead, pay that man out.
Hey, your brother just said an interesting take in the
I'm
chat.
sorry, he's 26. He's 26.
Your brother just
Yeah.
said an
Younger than
interesting fact in the
us.
chat. Your brother Gibbs just said, look, we know why.
We know it.
I mean, but, and here's my thing. Here's my only thing about that. Even if we were to go that route and take that argument, Dak Prescott got paid crazy. He got paid.
Jerry Jones
crazy.
also is trying to fight a narrative, though.
That's fair. But all I'm saying is, if the Ravens wanted what's best for them, if y'all want to win ball games, pay them. Y'all are not spending money anywhere else anyway.
Right.
And it's sad because y'all remember the days when the Bengals used to be the team that everybody railed against because they weren't spending money? Now look at them. Dropping bread off everywhere. Making it work. And now look at the Ravens. I have $3. That is all I have for you, brother. If you can't make that 3 work, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's a shame. It's a sin and a shame. The winners, I will say, though, Daniel Jones won, boy. He ought to be. Let me tell you something. I don't care what type of player I was. If his agent came up to me and said, I represent you, I'd be like, bro, who are you? I already got an agent. I'm good. and they would be like, I represented Daniel Jones when he got 35 a year. I'm sorry, that was you? That was your work? You was in the room for that?
Right.
My brother in Christ. I'm sorry. I did the math wrong. I did the math all wrong. He has 160 coming his way over 4 years. You got Daniel Jones $40 million a year? Brother, we need to talk. We need to politic. We need to parlay. We need to parlay. You know what I mean? Come on. We need to have a talk, baby, because that Daniel Jones.
And low key. Giz, we just said the same thing in reverse. You said the Ravens was losers. I said that Lamar was a winner because the Ravens sucked. And then I said the Giants was losers because they paid Daniel Jones all that money and they don't got a team around it. We literally just said.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, because listen, we're not gonna lie to each other and create a something about who is what or who not what. But the reality is simple. You cannot tell me again. Lamar don't deserve the money. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me Daniel Jones deserves that much money. Ryan Tannehill is making 36.6. Ryan Tannehill making 36.6. And you offer Lamar 32? In the words of Dr. Umar, brother, have you lost your mind? Brother, have you lost your mind? And again, to not give him the exclusive franchise tag, baby, y'all are not well. And let me say this. Like Josh said, there will be teams who say he's not worth 2 first-round picks. Again, if you ask me how many players are worth 2 first-round picks plus $45 million or so, there's one. Patrick Mahomes. There's not another one in the entire NFL.
Nope.
Yeah, man.
There's not another one. If you would have went back 2 to 3 years, I'd say Aaron Donald. But now, there's one. Patrick.
Yeah.
That's it. Nobody else is worth 2 firsts and 45. If you tell me how many players in NFL history, I would say maybe 4. Maybe. You got.
I'm trying to think.
History?
2 firsts and $45 million.
Two
Calvin
firsts.
Calvin Johnson's worth that.
If you're getting him in like his 3rd, 4th year, yeah.
Yeah, if you get him young, yeah.
Calvin Johnson like that.
I would give him that.
would say,
I would give Barry that. I would give Pat Mahomes that. And I would give who's the other guy I'm thinking of? Oh, I'm sorry, 5. Tom Brady and Dan Marino. Those are the only guys that I would ever see giving that much money to. That's it. That's it.
I was gonna say 1.
No Urlacher?
No.
Ray Lewis?
I don't know.
No.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say Ray Lewis because you said to Aaron Donald. Ray Lewis is about equivalent. His impact about equivalent to Aaron Donald.
So let me tell you the only reason I would have Aaron Donald over them. Aaron Donald is so dominant. He completely changes an offense's game plan from the standpoint of he is at the first level and you can move him all around the board. You can find their weakest offensive lineman and be like, all right, you got to block him all game. Ray Lewis is a Mike linebacker. You can move him. Yeah. You can do different things with him. But it's not going to be the same as moving the defensive lineman to like, oh, your center's the weak link. He's the nose this week. Oh, this team's tackle is the weak link. Hey, Aaron, go out there and play defensive end. Oh, this team's guard is the weak link. Hey, Aaron, we need you to play the 3-tech this week. With Ray, he was great at what he did. Don't get me wrong. You could not use him in multiple different positions in that same way. So that's why those are the 5 guys that I think are worth that much in NFL history. Anybody else? I mean, 2 first, and I got to pay you basically, what is it? Like 20% of my team's salary? That's a tough ask. So that's just my thoughts there. But now, speaking of money, the man who came out with the song, must be the money that's turning them on, must be the money. He's now rebranded as a head coach at a Power 5 school. I'm talking about none other than primetime Deion Sanders. And with that being said, he let out a very interesting statement talking about the fact that he wants his offensive linemen and his quarterbacks from 2-parent homes. He wants thinkers. He wants those types of guys, all that good stuff. He wants his defensive linemen from single-parent homes, as he put it, out of the hood or the trailer park because they hungry, trying to feed mama, trying to get it. Any thoughts about this? Any thoughts about this? These interesting statements from Deion, and then we'll wrap the show up after this.
I'm gonna make my statement very short. I know he probably said it as in like, as always those like old heads that make jokes. I'm sure he said it with some humor behind it. Mm-hmm. Also, when you got that big of a platform and you talking about like young men's career, kind of sound like you shucking and jiving a little bit. No, you shucking and jiving a lot of bit.
A lot of bit of shuck.
Because essentially you said that the smart players on you want the smart players on your team to be white, and you want the athletic players on your team to be black and hungry and from the hood, which you're feeding into stereotypes, which is something that people are trying to combat in sports, especially in the NFL. So we're just talking about Lamar Jackson not getting paid. I'm pretty sure that's a direct byproduct of stereotypes like that impacting people's livelihoods in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, it's not true. Black fathers are the most active fathers out of any ethnicity in America, statistically. Mm-hmm. But proceed. He was shucking and jiving. I wouldn't put it at Coonan, but he was shucking and jiving for sure.
Chris, you got any thoughts on this?
Deion, I get a bad rap. A lot of people, you really be laughing at me. They're like, bro, you moved to Boston and you're black. Like, they really laugh at me, right? But Deion, you moved to Colorado. You ain't too far. The apple didn't fall too far from the tree, right? Mm-hmm. So for you to say something like this, you give ammunition to your background, right? He's giving ammunition to the folks in Colorado to now be like, oh, we got a great team because Deion said he only taking these type of players, right? So you give the ammunition to Colorado to build that narrative, right? And personally, if I'm an all-world talent and I fit your description, I might not want to go there because I don't want to deal with that. For one, Colorado is not like prime time place to go to college at. We all can admit that. It's not like, oh my God, I go to Colorado. It's Denver and then bunch of mountains and hills and stuff. So I mean, I just think that Deion should chill and watch his words, especially when he got a platform now that he can impact a lot of African American males' lives.
This hurt me a lot. Because I was a huge fan of Deion Sanders growing up. People don't understand the connection that I have with Deion Sanders. Like this runs extremely deep for me. And my brother knows exactly how and why. And please don't put it in the comments, Kevin. But yes, there is a lot of like me and Deion, lockstep. I watched Deion Sanders' show growing up. Do y'all remember he had a reality show?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I ain't watch it because it was corn to me, but
it was super corny. But it was Deion Sanders, and if it was Deion Sanders, I was gonna watch it because again, I loved Deion Sanders. Everything about him, every little thing about Deion, I wanted to know it. I wanted to know where he was from. I wanted to know where his people was. I wanted to know what number he wore at Florida State, how many interceptions he had, what he did. I want to know everything. I was a huge Deion Sanders fan. The interesting thing about his thoughts: who's his starting quarterback again, y'all?
Starting QB?
His starting QB.
It's his son, ain't it?
It's his son. What's his son's name is Shador, correct?
Yeah.
Now, at the time of the show, that was over a decade ago. His son was a kid, little kid. That show ended because him and his ex-wife, now ex-wife Pilar, ended up getting divorced. That divorce was very nasty. Pilar ended up in jail and lost all visitation rights to her children for a certain period of time. I'm saying this to say, your quarterback is from a single parent home. So it's not cool to be from a single parent home if your last name ain't Sanders, or is it single father homes that are cool, or what's the deal? Well, you didn't put your son on the D line. Why? Why didn't you do it? He's hungry and trying to get it, right? He's trying to get daddy out there.
I mean, essentially he said that's different because his son one of the good ones.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I rest my case. And also, in terms of shucking and jiving, there are some times where you have to realize you tell jokes and people laugh with you sometimes, and people laugh at you in other times. If we're talking about stereotypes of what players should be, what coaches should be, all that good stuff, if you ask people what should a Division I head coach be like, by those same standards, do you think that they would want a multi-time divorced former cornerback? That is the product of a single mother home that came from the muck, that came from nothing. Is that what you think they would describe? No.
If you were looking at players to draft, would you want your players to behave like prime time?
No. But guess what? He was an undeniable talent, and you had to look over it. And here's my thing. To me, as long as you're not being a nuisance or a headache or disrupting the rest of the team, I'm all for it. Be you. Be you. What the coach said about Jamal Williams this year, and the linebacker coach from the Lions said about Jamal Williams in terms of if you don't let him wear his Dragon Ball do-rag and his fanny pack and all that before the games, you don't get him. Same thing can be said for these players. And also, you're judging players and saying, I do or don't want a player based on something that player had no control over.
Yeah.
I didn't have control over my dad saying I didn't pass the vibe check. That had nothing to do with me. Chris wasn't that excellent of a child to where his father was like, hey, this kid too good to leave, man. I can't even do it to bro. I was finna leave, but then I said, my son got straight A's again. He gonna be a plant manager one day. I'm sticking around. That's not how it works. These are situations that are thrust upon these young men, and based on the arbitrary situation that's thrust upon them, I could understand if you said, and I wouldn't necessarily agree, but I could understand if you said, I don't want kids who have been suspended more than 5 times. I don't want kids who have a certain score on the ACT, SAT, or whatever the case may be. I could understand. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I can understand at least at some level. Again, I'm not saying this right. I think that would be a dumb way to go about it, but I could at least see that. You're judging these players based on something that has zero to do with them. Zero.
Yep.
Come on, man. Come on. With that being said, how many games do y'all think Deion wins next year at Colorado? The under-over is what, Chris? You're the betting man. Tell us what the under-over is.
4.5, right?
Yep, 4.5.
4.5 games. Do y'all think he clears the over or no?
Yeah, I was putting him at 6 wins. Even before I looked at the over-under, I was putting him at 6 wins.
Okay, Chris, what you think?
Based off strength of schedule alone, yeah, he should get 6.
I think he's gonna get 7. Let it be known on this show. We can admit that Deion he put on his best tap dance and the best little I love fried chicken joke there.
Oh, shuck and jive, we gonna get on down. Tap dance.
But listen, we are not haters. We not gonna sit here and pretend like the man can't coach up some ball and like he didn't get some of the best Larrys and Joes in the country to follow him out to Boulder, Colorado. I think he gets 7 wins this year. I think he gets over his over-under. But again, don't be a hypocrite. Put your son in the defensive backfield. He's from a single-parent home. Mm-hmm. You already got one son in the defensive backfield. Go ahead and make it 2. Make it 2. You know what I mean?
And for the record, you can't let every player be him. Ja Morant.
Yeah. Yeah. 2 parents. I ain't seen nothing bad about, you know what I mean? He came from a nice 2-parent home, and now he done started Big Morant family. Look at him. Look at him out here. You know what I mean? At least you can wish me luck. But anyway, with that being said, I know y'all tired of us talking about Ja Morant, Deion Sanders, and must be the money, and who shouldn't have got their money. But come on back next week, and the week after that, and the week after that. Peace and love, y'all.